The sellers have to Photoshop the logos off so they don't get shut down. Talking about like the mafia right now, oh my gosh. It's our name, sweetie, on junk. We need to have a chat. We need to discuss the counterfeit industry. Hey you guys, if you're new here, my name is Jessica and I created Dolled Up by Jay. So in today's video, I wanted to make this video for a really long time and I've been putting it off because I honestly just knew that there'd be a lot of research going into it and it's a bit controversial as well. There's a very pro fake bags, replica bags community on social media. I know that my viewers are very more into the genuine luxury, but I still wanted to talk about this. I really wanted to wear these glasses today because they're pretty fabulous, but I feel like the ring light is just gonna distract us. So I might have to take them off. I'm just gonna put the glasses on when I'm stating the facts, okay? Which is like the whole video, but you know, taking them off for now. This video is probably gonna be longer content today because it's just a really big topic, honestly. We are going in a deep dive, you guys. We are going in a deep dive. I think you guys really enjoy my discussion videos and longer content as well. If you do, give it a thumbs up. I'm wearing a blazer today because, you know, we're gonna have a chat. And whenever the blazer's on, we're having a chat, basically. I'm just gonna consult my notes here. So, these glasses aren't real, by the way, it's just for the effect. You know, this is a drama video. In this video, I'm going to begin with talking a little bit about the counterfeit industry, some of the research I found, and then I'm also going to discuss, you know, these pro counterfeit accounts and social media posts that I've been seeing, and then how I feel about all of it, and tie it all in together. So let's see where we get, okay? Let's see where this journey takes us. We're on a journey together. Okay, so basically, I've learned, thank you to Vice for a documentary. I've seen a couple of them on, you know, BBC, on YouTube, whatever. The counterfeit industry is a $500 billion a year industry. Billion, not million, billions. And I was like, wow, that's a lot of money. How much does Canada produce in its GDP per year? So in 2020, the reported GDP of Canada was 1.6 billion Canadian dollars. So the counterfeit industry is roughly 30% to the GDP of Canada, which has 38 million Canadians, and at least half of those are working people. This is just such a lucrative industry, like it is insane. And people already say that designers charge way too much, and that's why this problem exists. But as well, you know, a lot of these fakes, people are paying 300, 400, even 500 or more US dollars for like a Dior super fake, an Hermes super fake. And there is a difference between, you know, regular fake, counterfeit, replica, and super fakes, and we will get into that. It's honestly crazy. So most of the world's fakes come from China. And what's really interesting to me is I didn't know this until I was doing research, that a lot of the items, putting the logo on is the final step because they are not illegal until the logo is on them, which is just crazy. So they have everything completely locked up in these factories. There's CCTV cameras everywhere. They don't want to get busted, essentially. You know, they put the logos on at the very end. Sometimes they actually ship them without the logos on them in case they get confiscated in customs. That way the company cannot be penalized or anything. You know, there's no legal action. And then the logos are put on in a secondary facility in the destination country, which is just insane. You know, they're getting very smart, the counterfeiters. These are not, you know, uneducated people. These are very intelligent people. Now, one thing about counterfeit goods is that a lot of the organizations creating these, not all of them, but a lot of them are tied to organized crime. And in this documentary I saw, the guy was saying like, yeah, I work for some really bad people. They are serious bosses in the organized crime world. So basically the proceeds from the counterfeiting, aside from, you know, what the employees earn, these guys that manage the warehouses, distribute it, etc., for these big bosses, talking about like the mafia right now, oh my gosh, they basically use that money towards, you know, anything from human trafficking, slavery, you name it, everything under the sun that is completely illegal, that is harmful to people. I know that it seems easy for a lot of people to be like, why would I give Dior $5,000 when I could just get the same thing for 300 and keep my money, invest the rest, save the rest? 100%. But unless I'm completely wrong, I don't believe Dior is involved in organized crime. So there's that, right? And I mean, to play devil's advocate, absolutely yes. The fast fashion industry has a lot of exploitative practices as well. For example, they have child labor. In some cases, slave labor has been found. You know, they're working 18-hour days, sleeping on factory floors. H&M factory in Bangladesh that collapsed and killed many innocent people. That happened as well, right? So even some authentic fashion is responsible for crimes against humanity, essentially. So you could say, well, what's so bad about buying this? These companies are doing it too. The difference is a lot of the luxury companies that these bags are modeled after are not engaging in those practices. They have a lot of very strict regulations they adhere to. I know there is a little bit of a dark side as well. You know, some people are saying certain designers, something is made in Italy, but the goods and the textiles and a lot of the items are produced in places like Eastern Europe or even China, where the workers are paid next to nothing and they have no other choice, and they're, you know, immigrants, sometimes illegal immigrants, and they're not getting paid. I saw a documentary recently about like the leather tanneries and all of that, the leather industry. I was really curious about like Hermes leather, all these luxury leather producers, and where these brands get their items and how much it really costs, all of that. And there's a lot of cases as well in those places where workers, they don't have papers or anything yet, and their wages are just completely not paid to them, and they've even had injuries, and the company will not do anything. They'll deny it. They'll say the person was drunk or they were not alert enough, it's their fault, they didn't operate the machine properly. So that's the devil's advocate side of it, right? There's evil in the luxury industry of fashion, there's evil in the fast fashion industry, and then there's evil in the counterfeit industry as well. So it's like, pick your poison at this point, right? It's also messed up anyways. What's one more thing? What's me buying this one bag gonna do to cripple the world? Well, it's not going to cripple the world, but I just think that it is definitely still worthy of conversation. But for someone who's working in a minimum wage job and they need a bag, whatever, they're gonna go to Topshop and spend $30 or $40, and they might even have to save up for that, right? And that's their only option. And suddenly now there's all these retailers where you can get the same thing for even like $70, $100, but it says Dior. So like, why not do that instead of having to go to Topshop, and then you can impress your friends too, right? So it's really, really like messed up. I think that a lot of this goes towards society. Our society has created so many issues because of flex culture, social media influencers, all of that. And I can see from my perspective as well, like this is primarily a luxury fashion channel, and I unbox luxury things, I do hauls, I do luxury shopping vlogs, all of that. And I could totally see from someone on the outside being like, well, it's easy for you to say counterfeits are bad because you have the real thing, like, you know what I mean? And I entirely understand that. You know, all of the luxury influencers are coming from a very, very big place of privilege, and I think that's something I struggle with sometimes, is I never want to seem like I'm too showy on this channel at all. I really, really don't like that. Sometimes we obviously get excited, we want to show things off, we want to say I own this, whatever, but I think I have to still be careful, because like if you are posting your things online, you know, you need to have a certain level of compassion as well for the viewers that can be watching. I used to watch so many luxury unboxings, but if I found someone was getting too showy and too arrogant about it and too braggy, then I would stop watching them, because I was like, I can't relate to you, you're just a show off. I think it's different when someone genuinely loves something and they want to share it versus when they're just really bragging and rubbing it in your face, you know? And for a lot of the world, counterfeit goods are the affordable option. There is a really big aura around our society of status symbols, and this has been a big topic all over YouTube. Like, is the Birkin a status symbol? That was a tag. People are really interested in the old money aesthetic, you know, which is kind of straying away from branded item status symbols, but people are still interested in how can I look wealthy as a whole. Like, this all ties into why is everyone so interested in wanting to look rich? It's really interesting. I think it's like a really big conversation topic. It might even be a whole other video topic of why do people care so much about looking rich? Why do we care about this old money aesthetic? Why are people obsessed with logomania? Why can Balenciaga put their logo sideways across a sweater and sell it for $3,000 and call it fashion? You know what I mean? But it's because people like the flex. People want to be noticed, and you know, you look at that and you think, wow, they spent that much money on a sweater, okay, they must be doing pretty good. You know, it does kind of show a certain status, and it could mean nothing. It could literally mean nothing. There's tons of people out there that have so much debt and they're just trying to keep up. Like, so many influencers are charging things on their credit cards, getting into debt, even buying things, unboxing them and returning them, borrowing things from their friends just to take photos, pretending it's theirs, also buying counterfeits. You know, this kind of brings me towards my Lily & Bean video briefly. I did a video on the brand Lily & Bean, and it's basically a company out of the UK. They do a lot of replica style bags, but they don't have logos on them. But basically 99% of their website is copying like Chanel, Hermes, Dior, Louis Vuitton, these type of bags. There's really not much else to purchase. There are some items, luggages, etc. But some of the prints are kind of like very noticeably adapted onto all of their bags across the website. So I made a video about this, you know, are they affordable dupes or blatant knockoffs? I was feeling a little bit passionate in this video. I did say like they're profiting off the backs of fashion houses and they're not using any of their own creativity. They're basically taking the exact same silhouettes, straps, looks, details of these other bags, and they're just creating a business around it. There's nothing creative about this. They're just, you know, making a profit off of this. And I was actually surprised to see how many people were saying, well, it's the designer's fault because they price people out of the market. Designers also copy other artists, you know, so I thought that was honestly a really interesting point. Some people also commented saying, you know, I really want to have a Chanel de Ville tote, but I don't know if it's the right bag for me and my lifestyle, so I bought the dupe first to see if it would work for me. And I totally respect that, and I totally think that that's fine. I just think that the company as a whole, you know, if they had one or two items that were kind of similar, I get it, but like the whole company is doing this. I think it's just a bit of a gray area. Now, the one thing with this company, Lily & Bean, is they aren't putting logos on their bags. They're not doing counterfeits. They're doing replicas. It's a little bit of a difference. Although it's crazy because I've gotten so many spam comments on my channel. Luckily, YouTube now has kind of like adapted at filtering them out. I get so many comments on unboxings sometimes about, oh my gosh, you should do a bag collection. By the way, I got my bag at xyrp.czyk.com, and then it links you to like these replica spam websites where you can buy knockoff bags. It's really, really crazy. I know that finance channels get this with bots commenting, pretending to be, you know, the person creating the video and all of that. WhatsApp me for investing advice, blah, blah, blah. But this is really prevalent in the fashion community as well. It's really interesting. And it's something I've never really like discussed on this channel, but it's a really big thing. There's so many comments of all of these fake resellers, and they're trying to get customers because people obviously are watching the videos. They want to see the bag, you know, maybe they're interested in it, maybe they want to look for the replica themselves, and all it takes is going down to the comments, oh look, I can get this replica bag off this site, bam 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 bam, $250 US later, I have the same thing and I paid way less money. You know, it is pretty crazy. There would be no need for counterfeit bags if designers were affordable. 100%. I am completely in agreement with that. That is entirely true. I think that, you know, designer bags, they have the air of prestige, the exclusivity. Not entirely as exclusive anymore, but definitely, you know, with some stores, they are hard to get into. They are hard to find what you want. You might need to have a relationship with a salesperson. The Hermes game, we've talked about that tons of times on this channel. So, you know, what's stopping someone just from ordering it online? A fake one, and then you already have the perceived exclusivity, especially if you buy a super fake. So in this documentary I watched, the guy was saying like, oh, we have all these ways to assess our fakes. For example, we compare the profile of a Yeezy sneaker. If it looks too high on one side compared to the original, we won't be able to sell it for as much money. If it doesn't reflect light as much with the flashlight compared to the original, the rubber, we won't be able to sell it for as much money. So they have all these tests in place to see the quality of these fakes and how much they can sell them for. There's definitely a difference between, you know, the really bad fakes where the Gucci's might just say like Gucci or something, or Guccio, or it's very obviously it's trying to be a fake Gucci, but it's just failing drastically, and that could be like a $25 fake, right? Then there's like a $300 fake where it looks literally identical and it's a super fake to the point where you bring it into a boutique and the boutique can't even tell. This is what makes me nervous about ever wanting to buy anything off the secondary market and, you know, pre-loved, such as off of, I think there's websites like Fashion File, there's Vestiaire Collective, Poshmark. There's a lot of different online resellers like this. Because super fakes can be so good now, even the stores can't tell. I wouldn't ever want to get scammed. And then it also makes the argument of, well, the super fakes are so good, why don't you just buy one, right? But just for me personally, even if I had a fake Birkin that looked exactly like the original to the point where someone in the store couldn't even tell, I would just feel dishonest because I would walk around knowing it's fake and I would feel like a fake, you know? So that's just my personal thoughts on it. And I put a poll on my community tab, which once again, thank you so much to everyone that replies and engages. That really helps me out on my channel. I really appreciate all of your input. I think 44% said they're super against, 41% said they wouldn't buy them, but they have no problem with it, something like that. And then the other 14% or so said, I buy fakes to save my money. And of course, all those answers are anonymous. I can never see who votes, so you don't have to worry about that. But I thought this was a really interesting topic. It seems like, you know, on this channel at least, there is a strong consensus that we don't like fakes, we don't support fakes, but I totally understand people that buy them and maybe why they might buy them. And there's multiple reasons, you know, why people might buy fakes. You know, the most obvious is you don't want to spend the money at the designer stores at that price. Because, you know, like a Chanel bag, that is a lot of money now. The Chanel bag, I think, is like 9,000 or something for a medium classic flap. So that is just crazy. It just keeps going up and up. I think it's like 7,000 British pounds, which is just insane amount of money. That's over 10,000 Canadian dollars now for this purse. So if you think about the average person's salary, like this is not something that you can just go to the store and buy. But in certain cities that are very materialistic, you might be around a lot of very affluent people and you might feel the pressure to keep up, and you might want to go out and buy a replica so you can fit in with certain crowds and be accepted. It's like, look at Inventing Anna, literally. I mean, she conned people out of, you know, their own money so she could have a certain lifestyle. I don't believe she wore any replicas. She might have in the beginning. She had a certain appearance, especially in the show. You know, they really elevated her style in the show to appear trustworthy, that she was accepted into the upper societies of New York City. And I had a whole video on this show, fashion analysis, and how she, you know, conned everyone, but with her style and everything, and how that played in. So if you want to see that, I'll link it below. But I just think that's a really big factor in why people buy fakes. The second reason is they want to have the clout, as you would say. They want to impress people off the street, impress people they don't know, you know, walk into a bar and just feel like that, feel like you're bougie. And that is a big problem because, you know, flex culture does entirely perpetuate this. And you have little kids now that want Louis Vuitton purses and they're 9 years old. Like, it's crazy, but it's because, you know, people are using social media so much and it's so accessible to kids. You know, you give them a tablet or anything and they're bored and they want to see, you know, what their friends are doing, what their friends are looking at, and they get an Instagram account or a TikTok, and suddenly they're exposed to all of these celebrities and influencers and even kid influencers and family influencers who are spoiling their kids, and they have such rich lifestyles and they're like, oh, I want this. So this trickles all the way down to little kids now. And I totally see, you know, some people, if you're coming from a background or your situation doesn't allow you to shop designer, it's just so easy to buy the fakes and give yourself a little confidence boost and feel like, yeah, I own this. I personally think that's one of the worst reasons to buy a fake. I don't agree with it. I don't think you should not be authentic about it. I think that if you are going to buy a counterfeit item, then I think that you should just own it and you should just say, I bought this for this reason. Some people have different priorities, different goals. To some people, they will skip their rent to buy a pair of Prada shoes. So everyone has different priorities, and fakes definitely make this image easier to attain, especially if you're wanting to impress certain people. Those are honestly the two main reasons: is you just don't want to part with your money and it's just easier, or second, you just want to impress a certain, you know, circle, or you want to appear to be more wealthy than you are. And that's it. I think that those are the two main reasons. You could do a whole psychoanalysis on behavior types and personality types and why someone is doing this, but I think at the end of the day, those are like the two main reasons. Like, you know, we're not going to dwell on it. It's the same for men. I mean, there's a huge culture of, you know, sneaker culture, especially in schools as well. Like, kids are wanting to buy Yeezys. Yeezys are very expensive. Yeezys, I think, are like $700 US or something. They are not cheap. I think I looked at Yeezys and they were like 1,100 Canadian. And I was like, what? I'm gonna wear these to the gym. So I was like, no, I'm buying Nikes instead. Like, I don't wear sneakers on the daily. Like, I'm not gonna buy these to wear at the gym. So didn't get the Yeezys. There's a big culture, especially with, you know, men as well. Sneaker culture, watch culture is huge. And I think that must be really hard as well. If you're in a very affluent type of industry, such as investment banking, finance, you know, anything legal, real estate even, sometimes people measure your success by your image of wealth, which is like quite backwards, but it's unfortunately a lot of how, you know, we perceive people in society, and it's a societal problem. But imagine being new to a corporate setting and everyone in your office has Rolexes, Patek Philippe's, APs, and you can't afford it, but you want to seem like, yeah, I started this job, I had this great career. Actually, no, I've been struggling for a few months and I'm like barely making my bills, but I want to seem like I'm successful, I've made money in life, so like, let's just get a fake watch, you know? On the other hand of that as well, though, I've heard a lot of men personally say, no, when I travel, I wear a fake for security purposes. So I understand that. I mean, the money isn't really funding anything productive, but it's, I suppose, better than being, you know, potentially mugged, assaulted, even kidnapped in some countries because you are wearing a very fancy watch. So it is easier just to have a fake, right? Celebrities as well, they do this with their jewelry, you know, their wedding rings. I don't really know if Beyonce is wearing her, what, 10-carat ring out in public. That's a couple $1 million. That is definitely a security concern. I mean, look at what happened to Kim Kardashian in Paris. She got robbed, I think, a couple million from her hotel of jewelry and bags and designer clothes. So it's also a safety thing. I totally get it. You know, you're at the airport, you don't want to have a very expensive purse with you. I mean, some people want to have Louis Vuitton monogram luggage and the matching bags and all of that to go with it, and I definitely see a lot of those people as well, but it just really depends on like what your priorities are and all of that. There's so many reasons I think people would buy fakes. There's also fake industries beyond fashion. There are fake contact lenses that people have had to get surgically removed. There are fake brake pads, which are pretending to be supercar brake pads that people get a discount and they actually can burst into flames. There's fake perfumes, there's fake toothpaste, there's fake medications, which is extremely dangerous, and fake sunglasses even, you know, fake designer sunglasses. You might think, oh, I got these in Thailand, they were $10. They're Gucci sunglasses, but they probably don't have any UV protection. They might have a UV protection sticker on them, but they're not gonna actually do anything to protect your eyes or protect the skin around your eyes from aging and sun damage. So there are certain costs for having these fake things. And as I was saying in the intro, there's a huge culture for fakes on TikTok. And, you know, people are saying how to buy the best fakes off DHgate, where to find this on DHgate, unboxing DHgate. Dior saddlebag, there is a girl who had 2 Cartier love bracelets with the 4 diamonds on them, and she was unboxing it and showing it off, and it even came with the screw and everything. And then someone commented like, can you please update us if you get a skin rash? And it's like, seriously, that's a risk you're willing to take, is buy this and it might give your skin a rash or an infection, but you look rich at least. Like, this is crazy to me, you know what I mean? And I just find it so strange. Like, it's honestly a bit creepy. Like, some of these videos on TikTok that are about DHgate and replica sellers, for whatever reason, DHgate seems to be the most prevalent on there. There is millions and millions of views. I think the DHgate hashtag has 2.5 billion views alone. There's a lot of people interested in this, okay? Whether or not they want to admit it or not, they're consuming that content, they're liking those videos, they're shopping those links, and that's how the industry is worth $500 billion. You know, it's not some guy in an alleyway saying, hey, want some purses in New York City, like Canal Street, you know, taking you to a back alley anymore. It's online, it's comprehensive, it's efficient, it's very intelligent, it's very adaptive, this industry. And I just find it so interesting. Let's put the glasses back on for this. So I took a little cruise on DHgate, and it's honestly really crazy. Like, this website has, as soon as you go on it, it's like obviously Prada re-edition fakes, other Prada puffer bag fakes, Dior book totes, Dior saddlebags, everything. And it's funny though, because I went and searched some bags. I searched Chanel bag, Prada bag, whatever, and the logos are not on the bag. So I'm like, well, why is this website so popular? Like, they actually aren't doing anything wrong. There's no logos. It's obvious it's trying to be a Dior bag or a Prada bag, but they're not doing anything wrong. There's no logos. Of course, they're entirely replicating the shape and everything, but there's no logo. And then I was like, okay, that's weird. Well, maybe this website isn't so great, but everything I'm seeing on TikTok, it has logos. And I saw in one of the comments of a video I watched, someone was saying, no, the sellers have to Photoshop the logos off so they don't get shut down. But when you get it, it has the logo on it. And they said, go down and look at the reviews of the item. People are posting that Louis Vuitton card holder that looks all black. It looks like it's an all black plain Louis Vuitton card holder. I'm like, what's the big deal? Why would you even buy this fake? You can go anywhere and buy a plain black card holder. But no, you go down and you look in the reviews, and there's photos of the same card holder with the logo all over it. But the seller cannot advertise that's what they're selling because it is illegal. So it's really crazy. So this is another strategy they do. So once I realized that, I was like, oh, wow. And a lot of these items on DHgate too, they're like maybe $70 for a bag, $150. The most I think I've seen was $250. It was for a fake Birkin. So that's still a lot of money, you know, like $250 US for a fake Birkin. You could go and buy like a decent leather purse for that from a department store, you know, even on sale or something. The whole like celebrating this DH-gate and like send the link sis and all this is just like, why? Why are we doing this? Like, why are we encouraging people to walk around with fake purses? Like, it's fake, you know what I mean? I don't understand it. Are this many people in the world really okay with walking around and pretending they have something to fit an image, or because you're rebelling against the fashion houses saying, screw you, your prices are too high, I'm gonna take the knockoff and still have the flex? I just personally would feel like a fake in myself. I would feel uncomfortable if anyone asked me anything about it. If and when the bag eventually does, you know, get damaged faster than you would think because it's low quality, then how do you explain that? The Chanel purse that you bought 6 months ago looks like trash. Now, obviously with the super fakes, some of the leathers are very high quality. Some even report that they are made in the same factories. Honestly, I really don't think that the counterfeiters are using Chanel's leather suppliers. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. They're definitely not using Hermes's, you know, because they just cost money. They cost a lot of money. So they're using something. You can also mimic these with different finishes. They can add extra gloss on it with just like a spray that can come off. And you know, the metals can tarnish much faster because they're just very cheap. And what are you gonna do? Like complain that the bag is defective? No, it's a counterfeiter. Any of the boutiques that sell these items in person, most of them do take cash. I've only seen a few in my life. I remember like Mexico had some fakes in like the markets, but they're like very badly done in like the street stalls. There's even I saw someone's shopping vlog in Dubai on YouTube. There is a market here where you can go and buy fakes. It's a whole marketplace. And I honestly thought about doing my own like undercover like investigative report and like filming all of this. But I was like, you know what? They're gonna be on to me. I'm gonna have nothing nice to say in the video. Like, wow, what a beautiful this, that. Like, no, they're gonna know I'm saying like, okay, this is entirely fake. Look at this, and they'll probably kick me out of the store. But if you wanna see the marketplace, just look up Dubai designer knockoff marketplace or something. It's on YouTube. It has like 100,000 something views. So this is how many people are interested in this, you know? I'm not trying to throw shade at anyone. I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad. I think that you should do whatever makes you happy. I just wanted to kind of like educate and have this as a discussion, but I really don't agree with like this whole culture around DH-gate and all of this and all these other brands that are selling these things. That's just my personal thoughts. I've always been someone that if I can't afford something, I'm not going to ever buy the fake. I owned a fake Louis Vuitton wallet once when I was 14. I got it in a secondhand store and I just thought it was really cute. And I was like, oh yeah, Louis Vuitton. Yeah, I've seen that in a magazine, you know, but I wasn't doing it to try and look rich. That was just kind of when I started getting into fashion and liking fashion, but I wasn't doing it for the wrong reasons. And honestly, the button popped off the wallet within a month and then the sides were cracking so bad. So I got rid of it like so fast and I was so embarrassed because people were gonna know it was fake pretty quick, right? So that was my only experience with fakes in my life personally. I really just wanted to have this discussion. I didn't want to make anyone necessarily feel bad about themselves, but I also want to highlight some of the ways this industry is very negative for the world and not doing good things. I will leave you with the scene from House of Gucci where they find all the counterfeit goods. This is like in the 80s and she's just like, oh my God, our name on this crap. And they're just horrified. And then the husband says, it's my name. And she says, it's our name, sweetie, on junk. I love that part. So, I mean, what do you think? What do you think of this topic? Do you agree with it? Disagree with it? I would really love to know. I would really love to hear your opinions in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this long video. I definitely appreciate all of you guys so much. If you enjoyed it, definitely consider subscribing for more fashion content every week. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much. I love you. If you made it till the end, I love you even more. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.